Hey there. So, would you agree with me that time to you is more valuable than money? That's how I feel. My time is so much more valuable than any amount of money I will make and any amount of money that I will spend. If you agree with me, then what we're going to cover today is really important because I often get asked, April, why should I license? Why should I get into this now? I'm so busy. My business is making a lot of money as it is. Why do I need to do this? And so in this video, part one, we're talking about the cost of not licensing. And I'm going to open this up for you in a way that totally hits home. So if you are wondering whether or not licensing is the right time to get started with, I'm going to show you all the numbers and we're going to break it down in this video. If you're new here, please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm April Beach. I'm here to pour into you wisdom so that you can scale your business and live life on your terms. If you're ready, let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so this week I had dinner with a brand new friend. It's this lovely lady. We're in a mastermind together. We had never met in person. And so she was visiting Colorado. I connected with her and we had this awesome sit down dinner. Have you ever had that where you meet somebody that you feel like you've known forever and you're already mentally making plans to hang out with them again? Well, in this conversation, of course, learning more about what we both do, she asked me a question. And I actually get asked this a lot, and I haven't addressed it here within YouTube or on the podcast. And so I want to answer this question for you as well. She asked me, what is it costing me right now not to get started with licensing? Why should I be getting into this right now? If I can understand why this is so important to not put it off until later, put it off until the right time, it would really help me a lot. So, of course, here I am making videos for you because I know you're probably thinking the same things. In this video, we're going to talk about the cost of not licensing. And I want to hone in on the time factor of it. So, do you agree with me that your time is more valuable than money to you? Because if you are not getting into licensing, you are wasting time in three different ways. And I really want to break down the numbers. If you're analytical, you're a numbers person, this video is definitely for you. So, first of all, you're wasting time by creating the content. And I know you're going to say to me, April, I've already created the content, but let's talk about actually how long it takes to create trainings, create workshops, create courses. On average, it takes 36 hours to create 1 hour of finished produced material. 36 hours. And so when you're thinking about creating a 4-hour workshop, you're looking at 144 hours that you have spent or that you will spend to create new content. And the deal is that if you have already gone through this process, you know how hard it is. First, you have to extract your genius from your brain, and then you have to create your process and your system, your method and your framework. And then you fill in all your assets, you fill in your knowledge, you fill in your secret sauce. That's what makes it your intellectual property. And then after you've done all that, then you need to actually build the assets, the slides and the worksheets and the quizzes and all the other things that go into making your training materials really, really fantastic. And then after that, you need to upload it to your LMS or you're going to hire somebody else to do this. So we actually need to get it into the place where the content really is going to live. And if you're hosting and delivering your content live, you're going to have costs associated with that. When we're looking at creating content, it takes a long time to create IP. That's why IP is valuable. And that's why your content, your intellectual property is valuable to other companies. And if you're sitting here saying, April, I'm using AI now, I'm creating my courses using AI and I'm saving so much more time. Awesome. We're using AI. I love AI to improve our systems. But when we're talking about your genius and your intellectual property, even if you're using AI with some of the research components or to fill in different pieces of the content, you still need to make it yours, especially if you want the content to be valuable, especially if you want to stand out. So even if you're saving hours and hours with AI, then you still have to create it to be your intellectual property. Otherwise, you don't own it. And if you're just creating content that's like everybody else's and they're all asking ChatGPT how to create a course and it's not unique to you, well, you're probably going to fail. So this takes a lot of time to create your intellectual property. So I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about how much time and effort you've already put in creating your content. The second thing you have to do after you've done all that is you have to market it. And if you are brand new to a certain space, you may be an expert in what you do, but you haven't really, gone in and made yourself known to a B2C client before. It's going to take time. People need to know who you are. They need to trust you. You need to be present on social media. You need to be out there speaking on stages, doing the things, shaking hands and kissing babies. You need to build your brand. People need to know who you are. And that takes a lot of time. The average sales period to sell a new course with marketing it is about 3 to 6 months. And that really is depending on how many people you already have in your space. If you're starting from scratch, it's going to take longer. Even for those of you who've been doing what you've been doing, you've been selling your same courses and trainings, you have a list of over 10,000, it's still going to take time to remarket, relaunch, or to continue to put marketing efforts into selling a course, even if it's on demand or a workshop on demand on repeat. And then you're talking about the delivery side of it. So first we've talked about the time it takes to create, the time it takes to market and sell, and now the delivery. And it's totally based on how your model is, right? If you're doing a live in-person event, that is your heavy lifting of your delivery. If you are doing your event that is, already built in Kajabi and it's totally on demand, still, are you running live virtual events? And you're dealing with costs. You're dealing with costs and time. And you will stay in this place delivering. So even when the content is already built, and if you're sitting here going, but April, my content is already created. Well, you're definitely primed for licensing if you've already gone through that. Imagine how valuable everything that you've gone through is to another company. So let's say you've already done this, your content is created, you're launching on repeat, you're launching twice a year, you're having events multiple times a year, or you have multiple offers and multiple products that you're delivering at multiple periods of time throughout the year, right? You are still the one that has to market, sell it, and deliver it. And if you're having a team that's delivering it, it's going to cost you money. And it's going to cost time of either paying somebody else or you yourself personally overseeing the delivery of that product, making sure that your IP, that's your genius, that you're so protective of. I know you're so protective of it. You should be. It's your genius. It came from you. Nobody else created that but you. You're going to want to oversee that. You're going to want to manage that. It's your ad spend. It's your marketing dollar. You're the one making sure that your people are happy, your clients are happy. And you're constantly in there overseeing the delivery of it. And the reality is that is never going to change. It's never going to change. That is the state of being in business, right? You constantly need to sell. And here's the one thing I want you to remember. Ask yourself, is this how I want to be spending my time 10 years from now? Do I want to still be in launch mode? Do I still, at the third quarter or fourth quarter of every single year, do I still want to be planning when I'm going to launch and when I'm going to be doing these pushes across marketing in the next year? Do you still want to sit there with your team and look at your numbers and look at your KPIs every single year and be like, how many more new people do we have on our list? Where's the fresh blood? How many people have been here before that haven't bought yet? Those things are exhausting. And a lot of the businesses I work with have been doing what they've been doing for a really long time, sometimes even decades. I work with coaches and consultants that have been in the space for decades. And they get to this point where they're like, guys, is this it? Is this what my life looks like? Yeah, I might be successful. I might have done this, really, really well. But is this it? Is this what forever of this business that I might have built so successfully? Say you have thousands and thousands of followers and you've made well over 7 figures. Is this still what you want to be doing? Again, I don't know about you, but my time and what I'm doing is so much more valuable, frankly, than any money that I would make. And so those are the things I want you to be thinking about. And then there's one other thing here that is really going to hit home, but let's just kind of pause for a second already in what we've talked about. So we talked about the cost. We're talking about the cost of not licensing, right? So we talked first and foremost about the time it took you to create the content you already have. If you're new and you don't have content yet, here's just a heads up. You still have to create your content. You still have to go through the creation of your IP to even be having a licensing conversation. But for those of you who have already done that, as soon as you build one thing, what's the next thing that you do? Because we're creators, we're solution people. You're a solver of problems. You just are. I already know you are, right? I am too. What do we naturally do? When we create a solution to something, then we learn more solutions that we can create. And then we create more solutions and more solutions and more solutions. Like, we never stop creating. Creators got to create, right? And so think of that time that you actually have spent creating the initial content. And let's just be really honest. Are you going to do it again? Are you going to create something new again? And even with licensing, you can. That's great. But be aware of that time. So creation time, number one. Number two, look back at what you've done so far. And this is when you really need to start thinking of like forward future thinking about what you want. You got to market it. You have to sell it again and again and again, whether you only sell it sporadic times throughout the year, or whether you sell it through affiliate partners and you're out there shaking hands and kissing babies and teaching workshops and speaking on stages and doing those things, whatever that looks like for you. You're doing funnels. You are putting money into ad campaigns. You're hosting live online virtual events or webinars. You still have to constantly be turning that engine and planning it very well and tracking your sales metrics and your numbers. It's never going to change. That's it. Welcome to the rest of your life. That's what happens. And honestly, congratulations. Most people love it when they've reached this point. They never even know that there's another step called licensing. And they're just so happy. So they just keep staying in this place and they just do it again and again and again. And frankly, they get a lot better at it, but it doesn't change the fact that that's still the operation and the activity of what a B2C side of the business does. And just a short little note here. There's a difference B2B and B2C. When I say B2C, basically it means that your business is delivering your end result directly from you to a consumer. That consumer might also be another business. In most cases, it actually is. But just know that. I'm talking about you delivering it, your company deliver, and direct selling it to one buyer. Even if you have group programs, you still have to sell each person to be like, yep, here you go. Here's my money. Click, click, click. It's just not going to change. And so those things are just always going to be the way of the world for you moving forward. And when we're talking about the cost of not licensing, I want you to think long and hard about if this is what you want. Is this what you want your life to look like? If the answer is yes, awesome. I hope that this video just confirmed that you are absolutely in the right space, doing the right stuff, and you're super happy about it. And it's, firing you up and you're excited to do more of it. A lot of the clients that I work with that are ready for licensing actually still do want to run that B2C side of their business. You don't even have to give that all up. But they also want to learn how to save their time so they can do other things. So going back to my new friend I met last night at dinner, she has a very, very successful brand and multiple, hundreds of thousands of followers. And she's been doing what she's been doing for a really long time. But she said, April, my cost is so high. I pay so much money to my team to do this well. So she's been smart in that she's bought herself time and space, but her costs are really expensive because she has to pay other people to actually deliver and remove her. So her costs have increased. And she said, I think I want to write a book. I think I want to do these other things. And she shared with me this really cool, amazing passion project, which will be profitable, which she will be able to do in the future. But she can't even move into that because her time is not there. She doesn't even have enough time in her brain to even give herself permission to think about what that could be, because she's done, frankly, such a good job and she's made well over 7 figures in her business that it's running like a machine, but that machine is still running and it still will continue to run. So I want you to think about that for yourself. So whether you're brand new, you don't have $1 million coaching business, or you do, it doesn't matter. The time doesn't change. And the cost to get people to help you, it will continue to increase to buy yourself more time. Okay. And then one more thing I want to leave you with. And frankly, if nothing else I said to you even resonates, hear me now. Your content that you have created will only be valuable for so long. It has a time period on it. Now, we want you to create content for longevity, but I want you to look at the stacks of content you've already created, the workshops or the courses, even if they aren't even built yet, the outline on, a notepad sitting in your office. I want you to look at this and I want you to ask yourself, how long is it going to be until I have to update this material? We want you to license your material now while it's still valid, while it's still accurate, while it's still updated. The longer you wait to license content that you have already created that is sitting there collecting dust is going to, you're just like literally going to burn money. We only have a certain period of time based on your IP, whatever it is you're teaching, whatever it is you're doing. That content only lasts so long, and we want to get that content into the hands of your licensees as fast as possible, so we can package that up, release it, and then you can come back with their renewal and sell them version 2, version 3, version 4, and continue to make more money on it. If, by the way, you don't have to do this if you choose to update it. But look at the content you have now and know that it will not last forever. And the longer you wait to start licensing, the less likely you're ever going to profit from licensing with exponential results on the content you've already created, whether it's something you're teaching currently or something that is collecting dust. So if the time, the marketing, the heavy lifting of delivery didn't resonate with you, then realize that content that I know you have sitting there in notepads or things you probably haven't even launched yet is going to collect dust, and you will never be able to do it because you will have waited too long. And you're going to have to start from scratch. Again, back to the creating, which we've hammered it into the ground about how long it takes to create and produce content from scratch. So anyhow, I hope you found this valuable. I want to share the excitement about licensing with you. And even if you don't feel ready, now is the time to get started. Now is the time to dive in. You don't have to always be ready 100% for everything. If you're kind of like a control freak like I am, I really do like being ready for everything. It kind of puts me out of my comfort zone. But you also have to believe in yourself and the ability to navigate this. Look at where you've gotten yourself so far, to be to a place where you are listening to me about a licensing video. Even to know about IP licensing and content licensing means that you have gained so much knowledge and you are so much more advanced than you were months, years, decades ago. So look at what you've already done and realize that there is this entire horizon waiting for you to move forward into licensing. And time is money, and I don't want you to waste any more of both. So this is the end of part number 1. I'm going to go into all the metrics and all the numbers. We're going to talk about money next in part number 2. And if you are looking to work with us and you are ready to dive into licensing, cruise over to sweetlifeco.com. We have multiple different licensing resources and programs depending on where you are. And we are waiting there to help you. So again, cruise over to sweetlifeco.com and tap into the resources below this content here as well. And we are here to help you with those next steps. All right. And that is a wrap for episode number 329. All of the resources can be found below this podcast on our podcast website. Cruise over to sweetlifeco.com. And also, I want you to be aware of our new licensing playbook that I put totally on demand for free. I know you're busy. I'm busy. I used to do this live playbook, an hour a month, but everybody's in different time zones. And so I literally put this licensing playbook on demand. Check out the show notes here so you can access the licensing playbook for free. You can also cruise over to our website at sweetlifeco.com and access the licensing playbook. In this licensing playbook, I break down the 5 most common types of licensing offers for you to be thinking about. Again, it's totally free. Tap into the playbook and keep moving forward. You're doing great work. Thanks so much for subscribing to this podcast. And I will talk to you in part 2 of why licensing now is an important thing to do. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.